Are you sure if I push this button and not that one, the science project's gonna work right this time?
I am Meek.
Wait, what?
Good morning, students. Welcome to school. Remember, the thought of the day is...
My parents were from different worlds. And I was a product of a love that never should have been.
Welcome to Necology, the study of the nerd and geek in their natural habitat. I'm Gary.
It's Rudy. It's Aaron.
And we are the Knights who say... Meek! Hey, just real quick, just to let you guys know, we do miss you, John. I know you've been a busy guy. We're going to hopefully get him back.
And I'm John, and we are the Knights who say... Meek!
He's still alive.
He's still alive, yeah.
He's not captive or anything.
They didn't put him in suspended animation. No, he's just a busy guy, family stuff. So just want to shout out for you, and we'll be thinking about you and your comments, which he always has good ones.
Yeah.
So here's to you, buddy. We're going to talk about Aquaman, and we'll see what your response is to. Oh, there you go. I told you what we were talking about today. Aquaman. Boy, that did really well, huh? It's been doing pretty good so far.
Financially, it did really well.
Yeah. Came at a good time. DC needed this movie, I think. Right?
Oh, yeah, they needed a semi-successful movie, and I think this one
exceeded what they expected.
Yeah. That's always good. That's what you want. Exactly.
I think it equaled to what Black Panther pulled in.
Oh,
I know
really?
I know it went. It was more than Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
and Wonder Woman was hard to surpass financially
Wow.
too. That was pretty.
Wow,
that was
and
really
it
successful.
did?
But once Aquaman hit China, I mean, it just blew up over there. So everybody loved it over there.
That's it. That's what you want, man. It's very good. Well, and that's with of course with them losing Cavill and
Cavill and
Affleck.
Yeah, that's gonna. Who knows? Maybe Affleck. Yeah, so maybe it's just the fact that they're gonna need this push right now, and maybe between that and Flash and get everybody rolling, maybe things come back online. You know?
Yeah, it kind of leaves a big question as to where DC is going to go with this, because now they have two successful movies.
Right.
The two main characters that they were really banking on has failed. So
yeah.
Oh wow, they really just vanished, huh? Oh, that's rude.
Well, if Shazam, which comes out I think in March,
okay,
if that
does
really well, then we'll kind of do a U-turn and establish these characters, which they should have done before Justice League.
Sure, yep.
I think with the pressure of Avengers, which they've established those characters within the span of 10 years,
mm-hmm.
and DC's been trying to do it for the last 3 to 4 years.
That's fast paced.
It is, and especially trying to hammer these movies out. What happens is that it lacks story and it lacks character development, and
right.
And it's essential, especially for superhero movies, because you can't just use visual effects and bangs and booms to try to make a great movie. You have to, it may surprise everybody, but you have to establish a character in these types of superhero movies, mm-hmm. which people think that it's just all special effects and everything. No. But no, there's got to be a story to it. You have to have that foundation.
That's what Marvel did well. They did good characters and this, the action, and that's a great combo. That's hard just to make it happen.
Well, somebody once said, I saw it on the internet or on Instagram somewhere, where they said basically they don't see that person didn't see the point in them carrying on, and said that the DC cinematic universe should just slowly die out, because if you think about it, their main character, there are two main characters, Batman and Superman, and the Justice League, if that's the pinnacle of everything that's been going towards that, and that was a complete flop.
Here I am. Bruce, please. I was wrong. You have to listen to me.
You're just making these movies hoping that you have a success like Wonder Woman or Aquaman or Shazam, without really having there's no they obviously hinted towards Darkseid and Steppenwolf and stuff like that, but there's not really something that's tying the characters together, mm-hmm. or an underlying goal.
Sure. Hey, but you know what's interesting? And I think Rudy's brought this up a lot of times. They're talking about how the comics and the movies are different, which is good in a lot of ways, right? So think about this. Maybe in the comic book, Spider-Man and Spider-Man. Oops, sorry. Batman and Superman were like the main focuses on them, and the other characters like Aquaman and Wonder Woman didn't really get their due. And it's kind of cool that now you're building up some of those minor characters. And we already know about Superman and Spider-Man. They have a pretty good run-in time. They've had a good, run time with all their characters. Now it's time to bring out some of these minor characters, and it only makes the story better. I'm just saying is, and then they kind of not work backwards, but now they go, well, how do we going to bring Superman and Batman back into this mix? So there's, you never know with the whole science of movie making and whatever. But, you can think of the best that can come out of this if someone's thinking about that,
Yeah, I'm just afraid that DC is going to get lost into, the different time frames and the different alternate universes.
Sure.
With now that you have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker coming out, and there's still discussions on doing the the Joker from, what's the one I'm talking about?
The Killing Joke?
No. The villain movie that came out.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Oh,
so the Suicide Squad version of Joker, and then so we have different kind of alternate universes where you have that Joker and that Joker,
sure.
And they're still planning on doing that one too.
Wow.
So you don't get that consistency that the audience wants, because now you have to explain to everybody, and you have to explain to.
True.
The people that might not read the comics or that and trying to figure out what the timelines are, and that's kind of what Marvel did with their MCU, is just they established an MCU timeline, and they've been very consistent about it and kind of writing in stone, and they even corrected it too, because Spider-Man: Homecoming kind of messed up the timeline with adding 2 years to it and kind of threw a stick in the spoke. But they fixed that.
Mm-hmm.
They established that yes, it was it was incorrect. They're very focused on that timeline, on that single timeline.
And that's why I think it's eventually going to get to a point where they have so many movies that they're just like they're just trying to pump them out, And I feel like it's going to lose the audience. It's going to lose everything, and you're just going to have a few successes, and then the main thing is just going to die.
So maybe if there's a little wisdom in here, someone pulls back everything, and they go, okay, where's it all going, right?
Yeah.
You have a goal. Well, that's like with writing a book. You have to have the ending in mind, where you're going. If you don't, you're just kind of trying to find something popular and trying to find something that,
and they don't.
It's new and whatever. But that'd be a great thing, to figure out where you're going. So direction is always good. So, and with that, let's are we ready to hop into Aquaman real quick here?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a character Aquaman, which we got a taste of him with the Justice League. So it's kind of cool that he got his own story, and of course they did flashbacks, but some fun things right at the beginning when we meet his parents. What do you guys want to talk about there?
I enjoyed the training sequences that kind of get him from where he was as a teenager to what he is now. Yep. And because when he came in Justice League, he was already
developed,
saving people and kind of aware of his abilities. So everybody was kind of eagerly waiting for this movie to kind of establish who he is as a character and how he came out from out of the ocean, and Batman saying, "So you talk to fish."
Right, that's your thing. Exactly.
Yeah. But they picked all the actors in this movie were great. I think the casting was done really well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And you have Nicole Kidman, and you got Jango Fett.
Your mother always knew you were special.
Jango Fett, whose real name is
it Tamara Morrison?
Right. So you had Jango, Boba, and all the clones.
Yeah.
All in one guy.
Yeah. He did all the voice for the Clone Wars too. So yeah. So you have this a good foundation of great actors and actresses that are try to bring this movie to life, and I think they did a really great job with it. The only thing that kind of confused me a little bit is I guess the uneasy part of the movie for me was the relationship between Mara and Arthur.
We're getting close now.
Oh yeah? Close to what? Dying of thirst?
I just don't think that the two meshed really well. And even when Mara came into the movie in her opening scene, it was kind of a, who are you? Even though that they had a conversation and they kind of felt like that they've known each other for years when they had that scene in Justice League.
Right.
So there was, like I said, some little
inconsistencies.
Inconsistencies and some character development that they had too. But I just don't think that those two characters were really meant for each other the way that they had written them in the movie. I think they could have done a little better than that. But other than that, it was a solid movie.
awkward opening.
Well,
with those two.
I feel like their opening was awkward, but like as the movie went on, you see that weird relationship with her and her, his brother, and how they were supposed to be married and everything like that. And I found it kind of weird how he was like, his brother was kind of in love with her,
Orm.
and then like Orm was in love with her, and then like as soon as something he thought even was wrong, he was like, I don't even care about you anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're not very trusting. He said Atlanteans are not very trusting. So.
The time has come for Atlantis to rise again.
Yeah. But they I feel like over the movie their relationship developed. Her and Arthur developed quite kind of a bit when they were, especially in where was it? Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
When they were in Italy, that
she got to see the beautiful side of.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I didn't feel like I was rooting for them as kind of a couple. Like, oh gosh, I hope this works out, and I hope they get together and kind of bring their two families together and be awesome. I wasn't really rooting that because I don't know, I just didn't get that connection between those two.
You can force things together. It doesn't work. Yeah. Well, and here's an interesting thing. If we take a step back about relationships, about how people meet, was that at the beginning he was talking about Aquaman as narrating. He said Jules Verne said that two ships in the ocean are destined to meet. No matter where they are. Which Rick talked about. People who are just meant to be together, which attributes to his mom and dad, which we'll talk about later. Her relationship when she had to leave. She said, I will be back. Just wait at, sunset and I'll be there. And how many years did he wait for her? Like a lot, right?
20 or something.
20 years, yeah, for her to come back. And the thing about it is, and he has that model for a relationship that you hang in there when things get difficult, tough, whatever. Maybe, the fact is that people sometimes have to actually spend time together, struggle and go through things before they can be the right couple together and make mistakes and be awkward. Who knows? So maybe that's where it's going with that relationship. And
it was refreshing to have that relationship between Arthur and his dad. Having that solid father-son relationship.
Yes. Because
they shared the same they shared the same tattoos. If you notice too.
And you don't really see that, and because you always have that kind of that trigger moment that puts a hero over the edge, and it's always parent related, where
That's
the
true.
parents die or the mom dies or something like that.
So he was an orphan,
but so now you have that familial base of I have a mom or I have a mom and I have a dad, and they had a solid relationship, and unfortunately the mom got taken away from them and separated, but.
Well, I think
other than that, I did enjoy their conversations and kind of his supportive nature in what he was going through, and him becoming the hero that he is destined to be.
Right.
I think what really set him over to that next level of his abilities and stuff was the idea that because he didn't know that she was dead, for sure, but that people started telling him that she did die. And I think a big thing of that was the moment right before him and his brother started to fight, in the arena scene.
Right.
His brother was talking to him. He was like, something along the lines like that. I love you, and that I do care about you, and I'm going to give you this chance to leave right now.
Oh, the brother said that.
Yeah. Remember? Do you remember that?
But I do not want to kill you, Arthur. I'm going to give you one chance. Go home. Do not ever come back to Atlantis. You are not going to win this. A war is coming to the surface, whether you like it or not.
And so I think that's a big thing about like his family. All he has really left of is his dad. And I think that idea that like his mom is gone, he has their resentful brother for that. I think that's really kind of what set him over the edge.
Because they did say something about you've been misinformed.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in relationships too, right? You get the wrong information, you hear something about someone, and you really get to meet them, like, oh, it's not. Well,
yeah,
a lot of us was like that too.
Well, in the relationship that he had with his dad, Ocean Master had kind of the same feeling for his mom, and kind of blamed Arthur for what happened to her.
Right.
So I think it was kind of the two aspects of just kind of misinformation on why the mom left and blaming Aquaman for that. So,
well, that could almost be the theme all the way through, because a lot of stuff happened because people thought one thing and it was another because they had heard rumors, or this is what they thought people were like, right? There's an interesting scene, before I forget, is what did she say? Something about that? About her. That she was in the ocean. Our tears are carried away, and he goes, on land you get to keep them. It's interesting, right? Talking about relationships, emotions, and how they actually work, and how people deal with stuff too. And one of the biggest issues that came up in this was how the ocean sees the land people, and the land people see the ocean.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things they didn't know about each other. They assume things. Boy, we know that one. When you assume things, what happens?
Mm-hmm. People start having these weird differences that aren't even there, really.
Right. Yeah. You've heard that one, right? Can I say the word?
You make an ass out of you.
You and me, exactly. So the thing about it is there's a lot of the ocean people saw the worst of the land people, and that's what they assumed they were all like. And maybe the other way around. You know what I mean? And that's where the misunderstanding, his job maybe was to clear that up, because he's lived in both worlds now, right? So he can tell you, hey, and he was telling Mira a lot of the stuff that, she's saying, you guys pollute us, all these things like that.
There's a big, Mother Nature, Planet Earth.
Yeah, I think I got that
scene to it with
dumping stuff back on the.
Yeah, and it kind of opens your eye into how people treat an environment like the ocean.
Sure.
Where it's all visual and you don't see what's below the surface.
Sure.
So when something gets thrown off and it kind of sinks down, you forget about it.
Yeah,
out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
But then, as you go in and see, what it's affecting, then...
Right.
Yeah, then you kind of...
Yeah.
Think twice.
Yeah, and it's funny about the eyes. It's so funny when he was... he went to the aquarium. He's probably like 12, something like that, right?
Something around there, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, and he's looking at the ocean, the water, and the bullies come up and start teasing him. And then he got that shark, and the shark connected, right? And then his eyes changed at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. That was sort of symbolic that he began to see things differently, and be able to see that his role is different. And sometimes, you have to have your eyes open up, and it's a shock sometimes too. But I think that somehow had a play, because down the road, when he took on his role, we begin to see what he saw, how everything was connected. It's kind of cool.
What makes a great comic book movie, and we can all agree with that, is the villains.
Yes.
And I think they did a great job in writing Ocean Master and Black Manta. Black Manta, I think he was well written. I like the backstory that he has with the death of his father.
Yeah.
And directly blames Aquaman, which...
And rightly so.
Rightfully so.
Am I supposed to know who you are?
I scavenged the high seas. You're the Aquaman. We were bound to meet at some point.
So, the way that, he ended that conflict, I mean, I think any other developed superhero probably would have taken another route.
Oh, are you okay? That's a good topic right there.
Yeah. So if it was somebody, if it was somebody like a Batman or a Superman, we'll just stick with the DC universe.
Yeah.
Or even a Wonder Woman too. Is that he wouldn't have left the father to die.
That's true.
So any kind of sees that too to the effect that when he sees Black Manta later on in the movie, he realizes that he has created his now nemesis.
Yeah. That's
you know,
true.
Yeah, and there's there's certain things where, you know, we look at people kind of in a bully sense to where, you know, we're just looking the bully directly at, you know, how that person treats others.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, you kind of look.
You're going to get what you deserve.
You kind of have to look at the backstory and how that bully was created.
Right.
So
and like I saw some people on like some other fandoms that I was going through saying like, oh yeah, I think he's justified in letting Manta's father die, and that would have caused Manta to die too. So both of them would have died if Manta didn't get out of there. And so, like they were saying, like imagine you're just going along and you're doing your thing, and you see all these dead people. You know, these people that have just been, you know, hurt by these two pirates, and they know what they're doing and stuff like that. And I guess, and like he said that he is just a impulsive, hot-headed person, and you can see that in the way that he like even fights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so some people think that he's justified in doing that, and it's just like it was a collateral thing that had to happen.
Right.
So there was a lot of comparisons with him and Killmonger.
Oh, yeah. True. That they caused it, yeah.
Yeah, to where it's a manufactured villain.
Yeah.
You know, manufactured in the sense that the actions that, you know, either the hero has or, you know, in Black Panther's case, where it was his father's decisions and not correcting those decisions later that had created Killmonger and that had created Black Manta, which Black Manta was, you know, not, I mean, they were pirates.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's actions that we can reflect onto others that do not treat them well.
Yeah.
That, you know, it can kind of reflect on themselves.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully kind of change them a little bit.
Well, that's part of loving your enemies right there, that there's a reason why we're told to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the natural way, because look what happens with that. Always interesting, and I don't know if we do the two halves now, but maybe wait, but we saw the two choices he treated his enemies. Well, let's save the other one because that's going to come a little later too. But he learned from that too. You know, if you go this way, this is how you build an enemy. If you go the other way, you may end up, you know, stopping the whole thing from happening. But exactly. And the thing about Black Manta was interesting was I love the fact that they showed in a very Tony Stark kind of way when he was designing his suit. You kind of saw that he was very intent on what he was doing. He's a very smart guy. He's just misguided, but he had his purpose for what he was doing it for, and he was willing to make mistakes and learn from it and become who he was going to become. But that's interesting, your motivation. A lot of people take those smarts.
Yeah, it was kind of like Whiplash with Mickey Rourke, where he was, you know, highly intelligent.
Oh yeah,
and he hated the way Howard Stark had treated his father during their initial designs of Stark Industries.
Sure.
And so with that, he had, you know, his kind of, you know, red blanket of, you know, Stark is, you know, evil. I want to take him down.
I come from a family of thieves and butchers. And now, like all guilty men, you try to rewrite your own history. And you forget all the lives the Stark family has destroyed.
And so he used his, you know, intelligence and the technology that his father had taken to, you know, create his suit.
Right. There you go.
So it's kind of similar. That you know, and that's what you get with a lot of comic book villains, is that there's a lot of similarities. I mean, there's, you know, kind of twists and turns that make them unique, but
sure.
But still, you know, there's a lot of similarities, and you can see a lot of similarities with people, you know, out in real life.
Yeah. Right. It's all about how we were reading yesterday. You can't always choose your circumstances, but you can choose your response to them. And that's where the test of character is too, you know? So exactly.
And then with the villains, we got Ocean Master.
Oh yeah.
And I think Patrick Wilson did a great job as Ocean Master. I was kind of weary on that pick.
Why so?
For casting. Just because I don't see
too nice of a guy.
Yeah, he's kind of a, you know, he's a square guy. I mean, he's you know, he's white bread.
Yeah.
You know, just
he's played other things too. A lot of, he's English, right?
No, I thought he was just
Oh, he's English, but he's played a lot of English characters. Very,
Yeah.
I believe so. I'm not too sure.
No, he's American actor.
He's American, but he's been in other roles where he's played like the good guy.
Oh, he's from the country Oklahoma.
Okay.
And if you think about his character, Ocean Master or King Orm, he's justified in a lot of stuff that he does too. And I think he's just trying to do his best, and like his circumstances of being
Protect the kingdom.
raised. I'm sure because like his mother was compassionate and stuff like that, but his father, he said that his father was a little bit too much, and I think that's the only way he was really raised.
Sure.
And so eventually that just gets ingrained in you. And I think for what he's trying to do is noble, but he's just going at it the wrong way.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he was trying to block Arthur because he knew Arthur existed.
Right.
And he was trying to block him from taking the throne because he held him responsible for taking his mother away.
Right.
And
I'll get the mommy issues.
Yeah. And so everybody cheers the scene of having the the trash thrown at the people on the surface, and that was essentially was Ocean Master was, he wanted that dividing line of we're superior, and the people above the surface have treated us like crap.
Right. They're animals.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so and it was interesting. The person who sort of is also a bridge was Mira, because she knew that things were wrong at home, and she knew things were wrong above, and she wanted to understand both of them. And I think that's maybe where their pairing could work, is that they both are, obviously they build a bridge there with,
Yeah, it was her and Volko, who was played by Willem Dafoe.
Yes, Willem Dafoe, good choice right there.
They were about the balance of it all.
Yeah. And what's funny was she, if you noticed she was all about, she knew the beauty of the sea, right? And when you look at Atlantis, and he was just like, it was all the colors and how amazing it was. And when they had her gown, it was all beautiful colors, whatever. So she knew the beauty of things. And so when he had talked to her about, you're choosing sides, and, you're going to fight for, the whole thing about the people on the land, they pollute, they're destructive. But he goes, yeah, but there are beautiful things. And then when they were in Italy, she saw the flowers, she saw the things around, and the people.
Yeah, kind of opened her eyes.
She's like, there's beautiful things here too.
Yeah,
worth fighting for. Yeah,
and some of that architecture is similar to Atlantis too. So she's like, oh, there's some similarities too.
So there's ties.
Yeah.
So they're more connected than disconnected. It's just different. And that's the whole thing too. Was they had to see their differences, understand how much they're alike. Something like that too. So.
And we were all waiting for William Dafoe to just be willing
to go. What did you say? That was a term to go all William Dafoe on everything.
Yeah,
he's gonna Dafoe that character.
Yeah,
what's that? Go Goblin? Yeah.
Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the goblin and took the spider out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Yes. Oh,
but he did a great job, I love his training sequences. Those are really fun.
Yes.
Obviously, he's a great actor.
The water wall.
It's kind of fun to watch him.
Yes.
And visually, I think they did a really great job with the visual effects. It's kind of hard.
And you never got a hair out of place with the man bun.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to kind of show the scenes underwater and how that's going to work. And they were uncertain with that too.
Right.
Coming to Justice League, that's why they had the air bubble when him and Mara were talking. Is that they really didn't know how that was going to work, and so they're like, oh well, let's just create an air bubble and kind of make it less confusing, and we'll just figure it out, later on in the development, in the Aquaman movie.
They did work at it.
So I was kind of worried that once they come underwater, they're gonna have the conversation. Yeah, they'll be like,
and their voice was kind of altered a little bit too. So
they have the kind of the echo effect where that they're underwater and having the conversation. And William Dafoe characters Volko explains on how they can their ability to see and project sound while underwater.
And swim and breathe and all
their
that
hair
stuff.
moves. And if you notice too that their face, if you notice that there's distortion around them because you can see the water moving back and forth. Very subtle.
Yeah.
But you could tell but there was a part in there with Orm when she put him in an air bubble, and then put the water back in, you could see him the bubbles coming out of his mouth. Sorry. So there was the whole thing where I'm imagining that their lungs fill up with enough water that there's no oxygen bubbles coming out.
Yeah.
But if there's some like disturbance in there, you're going to get that the changeover. So I think that's was kind of cool.
And obviously the best scene for me was when he finally rides the seahorse.
Yes. Surfs the seahorse.
Yeah.
Guess for the surfer part. That's awesome. Yeah. Very fun. And you had a lot of great characters in here.
Yeah. So obviously there's reasons why that movie did really well. I mean, it's not it's not going to win a whole bunch of awards or as highly acclaimed as like the Black Panthers of the world were. I think Black Panther, culturally was on another level.
Yeah.
But Aquaman was a solid movie, and it's a solid movie for the DC universe, and we're just kind of waiting to see how they're going to turn that around, because I know they're having issues with the Flash movie and finding the director, finding somebody to kind of rework that script.
Yeah.
Because they were going to do Flashpoint, and now they're not going to do Flashpoint, and then the director left, and so it kind of leaves that void.
Sure.
And so we'll see what happens. I think we'll get a kind of a bigger picture once Shazam comes out and what they're going to do with that, and Wonder Woman comes out next year too. Wonder Woman 1984 is next year as well too.
Right. Hey, I know we're not done yet, but it was interesting some of the environments that they put them in. Atlantis was a very metropolitan, real amazing. That was like the crown of everything too.
Yeah, it was like the Jetsons.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. And it used to be, and they talked about a whole thing where they used to be above the surface, and then but then I guess what happened was maybe they were all, and this is what I'm assuming, is they had some quick narrative, and they said that their arrogance, they were trying to push too far, very advanced. They sunk, and then I believe, and I could be wrong, that's where all the multiple kingdoms came from, because you had the deserters, which were in the desert, which is interesting. That's where the king ended up at. Sahara Desert, complete opposite of the ocean, which is very symbolic, I'm sure. And then you have those the trenchers, which...
Oh, the Mariana Trench?
Which, what'd they remind you of? What creature? From Aliens, right? They look a lot like the alien from Aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, mindless kind of crazy creatures.
I found it kind of interesting because I was thinking, I'm like, well, how would... So, the ocean is different levels of depth and stuff. So just the city or parts of the city just landed and just fell farther sometime? Or
It was pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Atlantis was huge.
Well, it was a whole... Wasn't it it wasn't just a city at the time.
Yeah, it was kind of a continent in itself.
And then if you do it right, the Marianas Trench is in the Pacific Ocean, correct?
Yeah.
So what they're saying is Atlantis had to be maybe
in the middle of the Pacific.
Well, think about it. Look at the space between California and Japan. That's a whole part of the world. What do they call it?
The Ring of
Oceania.
Fire.
Oceania. There's a whole half the world. If you look at a globe, it's just water.
Yeah.
So maybe they're saying that's where Atlantis was.
There could have been a whole continent right there.
Maybe that they're saying, that it sunk right there because the Marianas Trench is the deepest place they can't get to the bottom. Of course, once they went, and that's where they...
And that was a great scene too, where you had kind of the trench
flares
people just... Yeah.
But what's that? Now that we don't know what's at the bottom, we know now where does it take you to if you go through it.
I was confused by that whole thing.
It takes you to Julie Andrews.
Juliet, yes.
I was confused on that whole undersea tornado thing that teleported them. That didn't really go into a lot of depth on that.
Well, it kind of takes you to... I think they explained it as kind of the core.
Oh. Okay.
So you have that access on the Earth, so everything becomes right side up. So you get to a certain point where you get to the deepest point in the Mariana Trench. What does that do?
Flips you.
Yeah. So is the core right side up to you when you're going down? It kind of flips you around.
So it's the center of the Earth, pocket of.
There's no center to it. Oh, I mean, there's no up and down. Though it's interesting is in this movie they threw a lot of scientific theory in there too. Like some people said, hey, there are pockets in the world where there are things that have survived, like dinosaurs, and people have sworn that they have flown into huge...
Journey to the center of the Earth with all the dinosaurs.
I feel like it was a little bit like the Meg.
What was that?
Admiral Byrd.
Tell what you want to quick on that one. Admiral Byrd City, yeah.
What's that?
Admiral Byrd.
Admiral Byrd was he was sent the United States to go to the Antarctica, and he said when he went through the holes, he saw a whole world underneath there with birds and things and all kinds of stuff, and there was a book on it. And all
People
that.
have reported things. Who knows?
Yeah,
I feel like it was like the Meg.
No, each polar
You never know. Yeah.
Well, they say there's a hole at the top. If you look at Google Earth, it's blacked out. You can't look at the center. So there's some conspiracy theorists saying that there's a center to it somewhere.
Yeah. Things have sunken in.
Let's go.
Also, the Antarctica was once green and plush, and that had
because they found plants and stuff there and animals.
Sure.
There, yeah.
Journey to the Center of the Earth. Yeah, I think I have that one too. But yeah, they go into that, all the little layers. It's a great journey. You go in all the layers of the Earth and what's going down there, and but yeah, they had the
Admiral Byrd flew in. He was in a
wow.
Sorry,
that's okay. They got in there and they found the as soon as I looked and go, that's a pterodactyl. Ooh, there you go. They got the dinosaur world right there too. And the little guys, Jurassic Park came to mind, but I can't think the little tiny guys. But anyways, but then who'd they find there? Of course, three big things were in that core.
Yeah,
his mom, right? Exactly. And then that's where the trident, which was supposed to pull everybody together.
Okay, I have a question. Did you find it? My brother was tripping because he was like, did he just steal that dead guy's clothing?
Yeah.
He just took his clothes.
I would.
What if it didn't fit him?
Well, he's the king. It's gonna.
But it magically adhered to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. As he picked up the trident.
Did it?
Yeah.
Like a magnet.
To him.
Oh really?
You just didn't see it.
He didn't strip him. Sorry.
But it was.
It's just like looking, finding One Eye Willie and be like, just gonna take your clothes, One Eye Willie,
and your patch. Thanks, One Eye Willie.
I'm wearing One Eye Willie's underwear.
Ooh, the wedgie of One Eye Willie. Say that 3 times fast. I wear the wedgie of One Eye Willie.
And then when we discover Nicole Kidman's character in there, it kind of reminded me of. Did you guys ever watch? How to Train Your Dragon 2 when he finds his mom
with the mask.
Yeah, it's kind of like that where she's kind of ruled this part of the of the world and kind of establish her trying to take that trident many times.
Right.
Yeah, and her survival mode, kind of like that, and then also with Janet Van Dyne.
Yes.
And surviving in the. What do you call it? The microverse.
They're showing women can be strong. There's the whole thing too, yeah. But that was the whole. And here's a nice little twist. We're looking on IMDb, and we noticed that Julie Andrews was in the movie. We're like, wait, who would be the one character that you would be complete opposite her, and it would be the creature you had to fight, right?
What was that creature? What was the name of it?
The Carthan monster. Yeah.
You do not belong here.
Well, don't stand there staring. Best foot forward. Spitspot.
That was the one of legend, and it was guarding the king's.
Yeah. You always talk about missed opportunities with movies, and I think they missed that big opportunity of taking Julie Andrews and could have just had kind of a musical number to it. I don't know.
Oh, don't get started.
Yeah, just having kind of a little song that.
And it looks like Aaron is
on how to escape the Nazis.
Taking some notes.
Like
he's taking some notes on. Hey, I could write that. That sounds.
Yeah, he's a song escaping Nazis.
Nice. Anyways, yes. There you go. Hey, there's always a sequel, so work on that one. There you go.
Oh yeah. There'll definitely be a sequel. Black Manta will
musical
will be
sequel?
there.
Could never know.
You never.
I just want a reboot of Batman and Superman, and then I'll be fine.
I'm sure something will come together.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, so here's a couple nice little ending thoughts about this too. Think what you guys think about this one. It seems like the more you hurt a hero, the more you help his cause. You notice that about that is that heroes have to go through a lot of crap. A lot of stuff happens to them, but they get to make choices. You get to choose how you help your enemies, right? How you or you don't. You get to decide what kind of person you're going to be. And it seems like he took a lot of abuse from everybody, Manta, his whole race from Earth, whatever. But look what did it do to him? What did it turn this surfer dude into, right?
Yeah. Well, like he had that conversation with Mara on the boat. He's like, I'm not. ready for this, and he's like, I'm the gap between these two.
But she said
some heroes need motivation.
Yeah.
But didn't she say that I'm unworthy? I don't think I can. And the thing was just, that means you're ready.
Yeah.
I'm not a king.
Atlantis has always had a king. Now I need something more.
But what could be greater than a king?
A hero.
That's a humility, and that's a good trait in any leader too, is because you ask for help. That's the thing that I think a lot of people think is that, you're super strong. Even Superman, he does need help emotionally. He's a mess. You know what I mean? So he's had some issues, and it's every good guy. I was talking to someone the other day. It's like, you know what? Heroes or Christians, or whoever, trying people doing the right thing. You're not supposed to do it independently. It doesn't work that way. You find your fact. I think as you grow, you find out how much you can't do things and how much you do need, to not depend on yourself.
Yeah, I think you kind of worry about, being someone who
not show weakness.
Yeah, well, someone that you're not, but also exceeding past what you were trying to be is like, just like Arthur, where he said, I'm not sure I could be a king.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, Atlantis has already had kings. We need something more.
A hero. Oh yeah, what did she say? He says, a king fights for his nation, but a hero fights for everyone.
I think a big part of that, like when he finally realized that, was when he was talking to the monster, and she like whacked him into the wall or something, and he said, I hurt the people around me, something along that line, and then he was like, I'm ready for this, and that's when he finally realized his true potential.
And he said basically what he submitted is what he did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He submitted and said, then you choose. I'm be ready either way.
He's like, if you're gonna take me out, do it now.
Where in the canon with the movies is this after?
Oh, okay. I did hear that too. She had. It's after. It's after the first Superman versus Batman. It's in between. I think it's in between those two. It could be
this movie.
Or is it after the? It's after Justice League.
It's after Justice League.
It is.
It's just after Justice League.
Oh, because the world knows. The world knows who he is. They go, hey, it's Aquaman.
Well, Mara said that she was like, oh yeah, you fought Steppenwolf.
Yes,
and so it
she knew that one. And what was your part in the bar? The guys wanted to fight him.
Oh yeah, that was like my favorite part.
Tell us about that part, because that tells you that he has. People know who he is.
Yeah, he's like, because these like big biker dudes come up to him and they're like being all intimidating, and then they were like,
you Aquaman.
Yeah, he's like, can I get a picture with you? And then like a few beers later, there's like 40 funny pictures.
Did you notice what color the guy's phone was?
Wasn't it pink?
It's pink.
Yeah.
It's a kind of
it's the life of the superhero that doesn't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Thor loves it though.
Oh yeah.
Take my selfie. Good stuff though. One thing that I thought was really cool at the end too was, two things. Once he picked up the trident, and of course we all know, obviously, and if you didn't get this point, King Arthur.
Yeah.
Very parallel to King Arthur, so it's the Aqua version of it, right? But picking up the sword, picking up the thing, taking the thing.
In this trident resides the power of Atlantis. In the wrong hands, it would bring destruction. But in the hands of the true heir, it would unite all our kingdoms, above and below.
But you get to see we get to see that he sees everything's connected.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the fish, the people, whatever, and that's what it was. He no longer saw just his view, but he saw that a hero helps everyone too. And his last thing was when Mom came back and he faced Orm and defeated him, he had an opportunity to kill him. But what did he show him?
Mercy.
Showed him mercy, yeah. And I love the fact that, we think of all the things that are going wrong right now, but we do know love does conquer all. It's true, right? And that evil will be defeated. But I like what he said at the end. He goes, before he walked away, he told him, he goes, when you're ready to talk, I'll be here. Let's talk. It's basically showing mercy. He learned, he grew. He had that whole thing of not kicking just a bad guy's butt, like he got Manta, but now showing mercy to his enemies. So, see what kind of king that is.
Yeah,
but any of those.
Yeah, and then there's the familial aspect of it. We don't always agree with, family members, immediate family members, where, his brothers, sisters, moms, dads, whatever.
Yeah.
So you have that disagreement, but then ultimately, there's something deeper than that, and that's family.
Yep.
And so, you can kind of, separate yourselves a little bit, kind of walk away a little bit, and just, let that person know that I know you're unhappy. I know, we're not seeing eye to eye, but
yeah,
just so you know that, even though we're not the best of friends right now, we're still brothers. We're still, sisters.
We'll work it out
still
in the
siblings.
end. That's right. Good stuff, guys. That was very good. Pick apart Aquaman. There you go. And I think that definitely one you want to see again. I really hope that it's going to be a good start to something new, right? A good wave of something new. So there you go.
It's your move, DC.
Right. There you go, man. We're up for that, so we'll support you. All righty. Well, looks like we're good to go. And I'm still Gary.
Still Rudy.
Still Aaron.
And class is dismissed.
What?
Should we have written it down first?
I memorized it. Didn't you?
Oh, yeah, totally.
What did you just say?
Something trident.
Just scary.
How many things did he break?
He did break something over his leg. He did.
It's no joke. He always breaks something.
Is that right?
Yes.
He's
Look at him. He's just like, he's enormous.
He's kind of like a little kid, though, isn't he? Like has got that type of I think I'm like that, but then when I'm around him, like we're so hyped up, like we really just play like. But I mean, right?
I heard he chased you.
Hey, thanks for joining a class at Necology 101. You can always find us on Podbean, which you can download for free through the iTunes, Android, and Google stores. Or we're now on Spotify. And guess what? We're also on YouTube. Be sure to hit subscribe to stay up to date on all our new episodes.
If you want to learn about God Among Geeks and what we do here, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also check us out on our blog at godamonggeeks316.com.
And please feel free to email us at forbearproductions@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts, because we are the Knights Who Say, Nick!